Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I would like to welcome you all to the Mapping India Knowledge Series. This is the first roundtable of our knowledge series in partnership with Sabhyata. Thank you for taking out time and being here today. The topic of today's roundtable is upscaling the mall business in post-COVID scenario, strategies and technologies way forward. I really feel honored to introduce all with you each other. We have Mr. Mukesh Kumar, CEO Infinity Malls, who will be moderating the session today. Mrs. Benu Sehgal, President Retail with Omex. We have Mr. Bipin Gurnani, President and CEO Prozone Into Properties. We have Mr. Vivek Singh, Regional Director, India, Johnson Controls. Now, without further talk here, I return the time over to our moderator. Mr. Kumar, over to you.
Kirima, thank you very much for this introduction and putting together this round table. I think very, very relevant today. What we have gone through past 9 months time is not very easy, whether it is for the shopping center or talk to the retailer, even for the customer for that matter. It's been a tough time. It's a tough journey past 8-9 months. So we have a lot of questions. We don't know whether we have so many answers. Fortunately, we have some experts in this panel. They'll be asking some of these questions. Even I'm not very sure they have all the answers as of now, but I'm sure they'll try to make an attempt, because we have seen some recovery in past few months' time, especially Diwali and Dussehra. Things are looking slightly better. We're hoping that things will improve in the next 2 months as well, and they will take it on from there. Retailers have similar challenges. They also facing similar tough issue in terms of cash flow. The sales are not up to the mark. They also have similar challenges. And most of it, the most important thing here is the technology, what is playing a very important role as of now. In the past, this direction started almost 8-9 years back, but in the past 9 months, what we've achieved, what the companies have delivered is totally unprecedented. It's something which we never thought is going to happen in such a short period of time. But fortunately, it has happened. So we'll have to cope up with all these things. We have Vivek Singh, who will take us through on this. We have not met him earlier, but I think he'll be a great asset for this roundtable. We'll be looking forward to his input as well in this this roundtable. So let me start with Benu. Benu, you have got almost 2.5 decades of experience in retail field?
Yeah, 1.5, 2, not 2.5, not in retail, but 1.5 in retail.
Very, very close to 2 decades. You have handled malls in NCR, good malls in Delhi and NCR region, so you know exactly how the retail works. You also currently have been handling malls which are startups, whole different sphere altogether, but at the same time, something very, very similar business. Tell me, have you ever seen this kind of low in retail industry in past 10 to 15 years time, or is it the first time you're noticing this?
Mukesh, never has we been redefined like this, and never have we thought about it also. The worst you can think is the lower footfall, maybe 10% year to year decrease, but not like 25% only of last year's footfall coming to your mall. This is really depressing sometimes, and you don't know how the cash counters are not jingling. The cash counters are not jingling. That means your PNL is taking the hit. So it is something wherein, again, there are so many myths which we're holding, or so many things which we were thinking will be driving our business. For example, we always used to think that cinema drives the mall, but suddenly hyper drives the mall. It is not cinema anymore. There is no content for cinema. Even if we open the cinema, there is nobody going on the top floors. So my top floor rentals becomes almost nil. Because nobody going there. My food courts are suna everywhere. So there are certain things which even when we were discussing in previous roundtables, we were discussing about other things, but not something like this. We never thought that a pandemic would affect us so much mentally, and would change the thinking process of individual. When I'm talking individual, it is me. The day before yesterday, I was taking around in the mall, and I was thinking, should I start my children area active or not? And then I was thinking, if I ever had a child, would I allow my child to go to a common place like this? There are question marks on safety. There are question marks on health. There are so many question marks which have redefined, or maybe has put a question mark on our business itself. Whether the bigger malls will work, whether the smaller malls will work, we are still dabbling into it. What is your opinion on it, Mukesh?
In the past 2 months, I think things are changing. What I have noticed that in the past October, November, it was pretty bad in a month, initial 3-4 months time. I think Maharashtra is starting only in the month of August. If you look at the previous centers, like in the Bangalore mall started first, it was really, really bad. There are hardly people coming to the mall. I think footfall is to be hardly 8 to 10%. But I think gradually people started overcoming this fear. And what I've been noticing in larger centers, people are coming back. Footfall is reached to 50-55%. But it's not just about the footfall. It's also about category-wise things. What are we selling? What the retailers are selling today? Some categories are still struggling. Between what is your opinion? If you look at a tier 2 city, you have 2 malls in tier 2 city, also building one mall in Nagpur. Tell me, how these your centers are performing in Nagpur, in Aurangabad and Coimbatore?
Yeah. See, honestly speaking, I would agree with Benu that we've also, like any other center in a tier 1, even tier 2 and tier 3, I would say Aurangabad is actually close to being a tier 3. There has been a significant drop in foot traffic. And when we speak to our consumers, because it's a smaller city, we have people who we know. I think there is still this fear of stepping out. While they're happy to step out for work, but for leisure, they are still skeptical of moving out, and they fear that if something should happen, that work will suffer. So I think slowly people are now getting little more comfortable with moving out as a mall, and I think as an industry, we've taken a lot of efforts to ensure that we give a lot of comfort to the consumers. I think the SOPs which have been put together, I would say most of the centers are following that quite strictly. And I think that's something which has resonated with the consumer to a large extent. I feel if we hadn't done that, maybe we would be even far lower footfalls than what we have today. The fact that you're doing Arogya Setu or you're doing a check at the entrance, I think it's giving people some sort of a mental comfort, and that's helping. On the other side, we've actually seen our trading density has been very good. The average bill value per consumer entry per footfall are figures with respect to certain brands. Whereas at one stage, if we had 100 footfalls and our conversion used to be about 3 to 4%. If I were to say number of bills being made today, the conversion is close to about 17-18%. So I think to some extent, big learning for the malls, because we have developed larger centers to accommodate large footfalls. Whereas what is happening is that we have the same size centers with lesser footfalls, but much higher, trading happening. So I think going forward, the dilemma for us, even for, let's say, when we are building a new center, is we used to say, okay, average footfalls on the weekend, can we look at assuming 35-40,000 and accordingly build our common areas, walkways? I don't know if that would be relevant anymore going forward, because you might just only get 15,000 footfalls, but your sales figures could be similar to what we have been doing. So, that's one of the dilemmas actually we're at, and it's a bit of a crossroads for us, because we're investing a lot of money. The mall has just started construction, and we're saying we're spending about 25-30% of our space. We're building common areas, walkways, and we're air conditioning them. We're doing all this. Is it going to be all relevant? And no answer, Mukesh, as of now. Yes, the relevance of physical shopping, I think, is coming back. We are seeing significant, and especially festive season, we've seen significant improvement in numbers from our retailers, most retailers, I would say, barring a few. But going forward, I think Jan, Feb, March will tell us some bit of the reality. I feel maybe once this vaccine thing, euphoria is there, and people are probably convinced about the vaccine. I think people will bounce back. They want to go out. They are being stopped by the family. People have parents living with them, so they don't want to take the risk. They'll all come back. But how will the new normal pan out going forward, even when things normalize, is yet anybody's guess, Mukesh.
Coming back to this, what Bipin just pointed out, that we have the lower footfall, but the better trading. Do you think it's a good situation to be in, that you have low number of people coming to the mall, but trading is also always better? Why cater to 1 lakh people who can do the same sale with 50,000 people? Do you think it's a better situation to be in? You're on a mute, Benu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I should not be commenting on better or the first, but the thing is now we have understood that people who specifically want to shop are coming to the malls. There was a point when I was heading this mall called GIP, this one incident I wanted to share, wherein in Noida people were not that much flocking to the malls, and my marketing team used to get some celebrity to the mall and people would flock. And one fine day, I just decided that no more celebrities, because people who were shopping also would leave their shopping and come and see Salman Khan. So what do we want? We actually want situations like this, wherein people come with a specific thing in their mind. But having said that, this might be true for fashion, but for to have that stickiness in my coffee shop, in my food and beverages, I need people to stay. I need people to spend time for impulse shopping. This, what I can think is, people are locked down for long and their things have piled up. Now they know that this they want. They will just go shoot there, come back, spend little time. But my mall is built for spending people at least 4 hours in the mall. This is what you normally calculate when you see that stickiness has to be there in the mall, so that the other person also get benefited. It is a mall is a perfect example of coexistence, cross promotions. A person who has come to buy a sari might buy a jeans and t-shirt as well. It will only happen when they will stick in the mall for long, leisurely move, have a popcorn, sit and have a ice cream or have coffee. But if they are not having something, then there is after this thirst is quenched, then they might not come back. The mall has to be more than shopping. It has to be play, it has to be fun, it has to be Janmashtami celebration. I'm not saying only Diwali and Christmas. It can be your Eid celebrations. It has to be the common cultural source, because we are locked up in flats and we don't know where to interact. It should quench my thirst for social interaction, which we are so much craving for at the moment, which we need to build up that confidence. And I'm happy, Vipin, that you are having bigger space. Bigger space means we are not packed like sardines. So it will work very well for you in terms of, if another pandemic hits us, we should be now prepared, because this might be a repeat thing in future. Right. So we have to think now. We have to think. I was thinking, Mukesh, that way, that what are the categories I should be looking at if similar situations rise up. My categories are, at least I don't know about you guys, I normally used to ignore this pharma industry in my mall.
They're a very important category today.
Yeah,
they footfall driver. They get a lot of people to the mall.
Yeah.
The cosmetics, your pharma, they bring a lot of people.
Groceries, pharma, daily needs, which bring in very less revenue, but they bring people. They give. They
A lot of
put
value.
ignition in the car, and then you decide the destination. Then it should be the destination wherein all these three categories should be there, so that people come to your mall. You should give that reason to the people. So which is what the industry was already under stress of e-commerce. We were already discussing कि हमारा कंधे पे बोझ है. We were fighting e-commerce. Now we have to fight this as well.
They're here to complement each other.
Yeah.
Now, Vivek, let me ask you two questions. One, as a consumer, what do you think has changed? I'm sure you must be visiting the malls. What has changed as a consumer when you go to the mall? Do you think anything changed? And number two, from technology point of view, what do you think has been added? And what would you like to see in the mall and with the retail store as well?
Certainly. So first of all, taking me myself as a consumer, essentially what has changed is your entire presence in this world, right? Earlier, we were very happy going in crowds or being into places which were bustling with a lot of people. There had too much of traffic and all that stuff. But now when you get to such kind of places, you feel a little awkward or you feel a little out of place, right? Suddenly you get into elements of safety and you start to think whether I'm secure here, I may not caught something, or I may not be in a difficult position tomorrow, right? So that is something which has changed. So now for me, it becomes important purely as a consumer and not as a retail industry employee, is that I go to places which are safe and secure, give me an assurance that I am safe and secure there, and also give me a perspective that whatever you do, you are probably being governed by a much bigger organization which is taking care of your safety. As Dinu said, would you want to probably have your children play in an open area in a mall? Yet. So those are the kind of questions that you get as consumers. Get shifting gears, now talking about as an industry person, typically if we talk about how technology has been able to transform, so there are elements which connect now, certainly the part of physical versus the e-commerce part. So if you would have seen in the last 6 to 7 months, the biggest drive or the biggest frenzy that you would have seen retailers into is to launch their own e-commerce platforms, because there are consolidated platforms like Amazon and Flipkart, but to have your own e-commerce portal is something which is like the need of the hour. So there are people who go to a store, but let's say if I wear a Marks and Spencer medium-sized shirt and I need a white shirt, might as well, being an educated citizen, I would order it online for myself. Hence, it becomes important to have unified solutions in the back end, which help you drive your inventory to the last level. So what the benefit or the beauty of e-commerce that you can do, let's say out of your 5,000 shirts, you still have a 42 size white shirt left. You can sell it online, but you cannot sell it on the store because the probability of a customer coming up and picking it there must be much, much lesser. So that's one possibility which has opened for people. Considering that the environment is getting conducive to it, there are a lot of people who are getting towards it. A lot of physical stores can take advantage of the inventory that they have in their stores and put it online for sale. See, that's entirely a mechanism of
You
monetizing.
talk about omni-channel basically.
Absolutely.
Omni-channel.
So that's a mechanism of monetizing your own assets from a technology perspective. There are inventory mechanisms, there are inventory tracking stuff which can do that for you very beautifully and in nearly real time. So that's one impact that technology has made. Secondly, from us at Sensormatic as a brand, we have started a new category of retail, which is essential retail. We talked about hypermarkets, we talked about small grocery stores, we talked about convenience stores, we talked about pharmacies, we talked about all these small formats of stores which were earlier pretty much neglected. But now the kind of traffic and the kind of traction that you see in these stores, they are becoming the next important segment for everyone. So nurturing this segment is something which becomes important as industry people from a property perspective, which is typically a mall getting space for them because now they are traffic drivers. Thirdly, when I look at our core business, I also take care of ShopperTrack as a brand. So we do traffic analytics for a lot of mall guys and a lot of people. So I can cite from data. I was opening up the data for one of our leading customers in the consumer durable industry, close to about 600 sites in India. So the confidence that I can give you is last year, they had close to 21 lakh customers in across all their 500 stores in the month of November. And this year, the number is nearly 20 lakh, nearly 50,000 less than what the last year number was.
Very similar numbers.
Absolutely. So which is a statistical confidence that I can provide to all of you. And this is real-time data, right? So no one can deny. So the trends are coming back for sure. There are significant trends that you see as an upswing in all our data that we are capturing from most of the malls, most of the retailers across high streets, across mall properties and all. So if we look at the trend of traffic or the trend of consumers getting back to stores, just getting back to normal. The other bigger element, as Bipin pointed out, is how rich is that customer or what is your extraction or conversion out of that customer. We also see an upward trend in those customers. So that's something, let's say if you were having 100 customers before, of these hundreds, only 40 of them bought something. Now, of those 100, even if that 100 gets down to 60 or 70, a significant percentage of people are buying. Yet, as a consumer, you also see there is a shift in terms of categories that you may invest your money on. So now, if I am probably working out of home, I may not need clothes as much as others who may do. So that's certainly a shift in terms of the demand.
Which you could see in the category sales that we could see currently.
Absolutely. So having a right mix of customers is something which also becomes important. If I look at malls as a segment, purely malls as a segment, we only look at traffic, or we only look at footfall as a very basic number of how many people did come to me. But now, if you probably do some amount of micromanagement on that number, you also get to understand that the weekdays are shifting. Weekdays have slightly higher amount of traffic as compared to weekend, and that's some trend that we have seen over the last 3 months. That's when malls and properties have reopened across the country. That's one. Secondly, what we should also do in terms of technology is to understand how the movement of people is happening within the mall. So there are places which are like hotspots, and there are places which
Vivek,
are
I'll
like,
come back to you. That's a very interesting topic. I'll
yeah.
come back to you. Let me ask Bipin, with so much information what one has, and looking at the trend of sales in past 7, 8 months, the last 3, 4 months, do you think you're going to change some strategy in terms of having a retail mix? Would you like to have more of essential services being part of the mall? Would you like to reduce your F&B or entertainment? Would you change any strategy?
Let me put it this way, Mukesh. Honestly, there's a lot of thought process that we are going through. Unfortunately, I hope that we are not reacting too much too soon. And I think that's the worry we have, because, all of us know how much time it takes right from planning to getting a mall operational, and to leasing it, and to, putting everything together.
You need more
And,
flexibility, basically.
you don't want to suddenly, in a period of 6 months, start, overthinking. And I must agree with Benu when she said that this whole threat of online has been existing for some time. We have seen what is happening in the US, to a large extent in UK. So that threat in terms of online growing faster than brick and mortar is always there. So I think that shift of thinking in terms of category mix, what should be brought in, is already there. I think, in my view, this pandemic and COVID-19 is to some extent temporary, and it has restricted us as people, as consumers, to move out. Yes, we should be prepared for something like this going forward, because we had never thought that any country or any city or the entire world would shut down, for 3, 4 months. But I'm saying that we must be prepared for it. I don't want to overthink. We are starting to put some thoughts together. I agree that the services component in our centers must go up, which means, we could. I remember, watching something recently where, in Philippines, almost every center has diagnostic center. A diagnostic,
Yes, correct.
thing, a veterinary pet area, which they have created. So they have actually introduced a lot of these services segments in their mall, and that's why they've been able to sustain. Because unfortunately, in India, most of the malls are fashion heavy, we or apparel heavy, and I think the entire dependency on one particular or a large dependency on one particular format or segment, I think we must steer away from. That's a big learning, and I think slowly, over the next 12 months to 24 months, we must now, in fact, I can be quite candid and tell you that we have lost a few retailers during this period, but we are very clear that we don't want to replace them with a similar format. We want to replace them with something new, because I think we already had too much of apparel and fashion and footwear. So from that perspective, we definitely feel there should be changes for the newer malls which are coming up. And for our Nagpur, we are 100% sure that we will now introduce new categories, new formats, and which perhaps we earlier felt were not as important, as Benu said, like the pharmacies and stuff like that. So we are now revisiting that category mix. But in the existing malls, I think we will wait it out a little. We don't want to react quickly. The reaction was already there, thanks to the onslaught of online coming in, which has now increased because of this pandemic. but we don't want to do a knee-jerk reaction. We'll slowly move to it. There's no doubt that there has to be some amount of shift in categories. And also, I think we will review in terms of the sizing with respect to the mall size. We will also review in terms of how much dependency. One thing I've learned, and I must tell you, and I hope we don't give a big head to all the anchors. What has saved us through this pandemic is anchors.
Anchors,
The
correct.
biggest trouble we went through was with vanilla stores. And no disrespect to them, or there's nothing. I think these are smaller formats with limited capital at times. So, but it's what has saved us on all in all, I think, has been the anchors. So I am really happy that both our sectors are anchor heavy at this stage of time.
Which is a better...
While your rental average gets skewed, but at least we were able to survive this period. So I think
to get people to the mall, that's very important.
So I think reviewing the category mix, the format mix, the sizing important, but definitely my viewpoint is that we shouldn't do any knee-jerk changes because these changes in any mall involve a lot of new capex, a new thought process. So we should not do any knee-jerk.
You'd rather wait for some more time. Let's see how it pans out the next 6 to 9 months.
Absolutely.
See, the churning is always part of the mall culture. It happens and will continue to happen. You would like to generally prefer to have at least 10 to 15% churning happening every year, if not more. But do you think there's enough demand as of now? With so many companies going out of business, they have cash flow issue, they don't have money at all to spend on capex. Do you think there's enough demand?
What I was thinking, and I raised a hand also there for when Vipin was talking about, is that these changes were already creeping in, only the gears have changed. Suddenly from first gear, they've gone to fifth gear. The technology has come in. We were seeing this happening. It is not that we were talking about the store sizes. We were talking about whether it should be click and collect, whether it should be what and how, whether we should go for rev share or not, or whether we should stick to MG. But now regarding this question, I should take it first, is demand on the category. Again, I was going through a chart. I don't know where I've kept it. I was going through a chart in this pandemic, which all categories moved. Fashion was the least. And I remember I was a consultant to one of the mall in Guwahati, and I was saying that you told the architect, close your eyes, think that you're a woman of 35-year-old with 2 kids, and what all do you require? Would you like to have fashion? Would you like to have toys? Would you like to go spend time with your family? So, and then design my mall. So now I used to that time think that a woman with 2 kids will drive my mall. If I have enough fashion, if I have enough food, if I have enough entertainment, it's a success story. Sorry, it's been shaken up. The success story, that carpet is pulled beneath my feet. So the success story is no longer like that. It is something which is very, very need driven. If I have to have the ROI, I don't want to make a Taj Mahal out of it. The retail has to speak there and the need has to speak there. I'm very happy that Vipin, that you are very happy with the anchors, but not all anchors have performed. Not all have performed. For me, I have a few, I would not mention it, a few categories which are still struggling and they are not even giving me a good rev share, which is again a question mark. So now when we had started, Mukesh, remember, we had very little food and food used to be 5%.
5%, absolutely.
5%. It rose up to 15%. And now I think it will go up to 35 to 40%. And now what is the impact on my ROI? Fashion and cosmetics and all used to give me a bigger ROI. The vanilla used to give me a bigger ROI. Food doesn't give me that ROI. Customers are not going to, if they means the retailer, a food retailer has a capping. He can entertain only a certain number of guests and give me a certain number of revenue generation. It cannot happen like, in December and January, how H&M is packed and how other fashion retailers are packed and you have a peak and your ROI suddenly peaks up. So that kind of, so we have to now planning a mall, we will have to look into it, that how much are we going to spend? Or should we go, spend too much on the infrastructure and then repent later? Or should we go very infrastructure light, spread it across, have more open spaces, don't have too much air conditioning, have some areas wherein people can, mingle and keep it free of air condition. So all these things have to be now started. It is not a knee-jerk reaction, but for future non-pandemic also this has to continue. Because now my content is very OTT driven. My content is not cinema driven. हमारे शेर को खून लग गया आदमी का, वो it might not come back again in the same flock to the theaters, because OTT has suddenly again वो first gear से सीधे fifth gear में चला गया. I don't know how many people must have Netflix 53% growth. Prime Videos, I think much more growth than Netflix also. So you see all that, people who were not knowing. My mother has started now shifting channels and saying Prime Video में ये आने वाला है and all that, which I had not imagined. A 78-year-old woman telling me ये serial चल रहा. So see,
Benu, I think it's a temporary. Let me butt in here. I think this little temporary, because if you look at the e-commerce also, we had similar situation with e-commerce. We thought once e-commerce came 2014-15, we thought the malls will be completely wiped out. It didn't really happen. What happened? What changed? We started focusing more on the experience.
Yeah.
Same thing with the theater as well. OTT, yes, you can watch a movie. It's more of a utility thing. That you want to watch a movie, watching a movie sitting at home. But going out and watching a movie with your family and your friends is a different experience altogether. So I don't think that's going to change.
I agree.
It's something very similar to F&B. I mean, you have a choice to sit at home, order food from home. These restaurants are still doing well. So I think in the longer run, I think it's going to sustain by itself. But definitely there'll be some changes over a period of time. Where you talk about entertainment, maybe the format will become a little smaller. Maybe theater will become a little more smaller. You may not have too many screens in the today. See, they were growing up to almost 13, 14 screens in a particular mall. I think that they may try to scale it down to 6, 7 screens. That's what I see can happen over a period of time. But again, there's another flip side. If you look at today, the share price of Inox and PVR is hitting the roof. That means people know that they're going to grow. So this definitely.
One category, Mukesh, is the formal category which is going to take a hit.
Formal and ethnic wear. That's I was coming back to that. These two categories is definitely going to take a hit. It's already taken a hit. I don't know how long it will take to come back. I want to take a question to Vivek once again. Vivek, as far as tech is concerned, do you think you'll have something which is more for the retailer, because they are the people who basically work with the customers and the visitors? Right. Malls are basically just a facilitator. They don't really play too much a role except for tracking movement of the visitors. But I think retail plays a very important role. Retail stores. Do you think the solution lies with them?
To an extent, there is a part of a solution lies with them for sure. If we look at all the restricting factors, which could be in a very limited time frame today, but if we look at people not being very comfortable going into stores because of contact and all that stuff, there are a lot of contactless technologies that are coming up. So there has been a phenomenal growth in the artificial intelligence side of the world. So what it does is purely using your very small or very average type cameras within your stores, there can be a lot of meaningful information that can be driven. The first set of information is about what is the customer's response, what is the feedback, are they happy or are they in a sad mood, are they in a happy mood, are they joyous after they make their purchase and all that stuff, which helps you plan a lot of your CRM activities accordingly. The second thing that we see here is essentially a lot in terms of virtual assistants. So now, because distance between humans may become a challenge later on as well, probably for the next few quarters. So where you would see a lot of virtual assistants coming into action. Let's say you want to buy a shirt. You don't want to really try on that cloth, but just try and understand how would it look on you. So there are solutions that are available for that, which are becoming pretty conducive in terms of helping customers make their purchase. Of course, as I said before, if we look at a comparison of retail versus e-commerce, so anywhere, even across the most developed economies, there has not been a penetration beyond 30-35% for the e-commerce guys. So, and e-commerce is nothing but a mechanism to purchase. Retailers are now invading into e-commerce territory and they are trying to do e-commerce by themselves. That's another trend.
30% also is not for, it's for very few categories, 30%. Generally, it's around
Right.
10 to 15%. Most of the categories around 10 to 15%, barring few categories.
I was typically talking about apparel and consumer products in mind, but yes, if we look at the overall spectrum, it goes significantly down.
Yeah.
So the physical retailers can now take a bite into the e-commerce part as well, and there are third-party enablers, there are third-party guys who can put them online with simply a click of a button. So if we talk about, there is going to be a lot of revolution in terms of how things happen within the store. A lot of contactless technologies, simply things like self-checkout. Again, a possibility which can be driven in places or stores. I'm really debating whether we should really adopt them in countries like India or not, because of an abundance of manpower to do things like that. Looking at the cost effectiveness of doing a self checkout counter versus doing your versus having an employee help you do checkout. So all those kind of things are certainly driving retail towards a very contactless, towards a very safe kind of an environment, which is something which is required at the moment.
What happened to data privacy in all these?
So there are solutions which are, most of this is typically considered GDPR in mind. So even if we look at artificial intelligence, so to say, it really depends upon what information do you want to take out versus what information remains within the system, or even it's wiped off. So let's say I know that there are two customers who are laughing, right? Or they are smiling, but I do not know whether who those two customers are. So it's about getting a representative of the larger data set in terms of emotions, in terms of their responsiveness or reactions towards situations or experiences within the properties. But it certainly does not get into the periphery of GDPR.
Vipin, coming back to you regarding these expansions and acquisitions, do you think it's the right time to get into this? If you're getting into distressed assets,
Absolutely.
it's a good time to,
Depending-
but so uncertainty about whether you'll get takers, not get takers, what could be the size. Do you think it's a really good time to invest money on all this?
Firstly, Mukesh, I'm a firm believer that anywhere in the world, humans are absolutely looking forward to social engagement. Like Vivek mentioned, even in the most matured markets, penetration of shopping on the internet is maybe 30-35% at best.
No, that may be correct. Let me butt in here. That may be correct. But my question is in terms of getting enough demand from the retailers and number two, the revenue. The revenues also. The revenues have taken a big hit in the last 1 year and it's going to continue to take hit for next 1 or 2 years.
I want to come back to that same thing. I think everything is driven by consumer. Eventually, whether a mall will have a brand or will not have a brand or will have a more fashion or more of food will all be driven by consumers. I think often we make a mistake of saying that this is what I want to build. I think what we need to do is to understand what the consumer wants, what the demographics of where your land is located and where you want to build the mall, what will work. Is, for example, I'll tell you, when we launched Coimbatore, initially we had signed a lot of these premium brands there. If I may call premium brands like Nautica and Gant and so on and so forth. Subsequently, finally, we did not go ahead with them because when we did a proper study, we understood that the catchment of the area was such that these brands would not be able to sustain themselves. Eventually, two things will happen. There's a big mismatch between what we have and what the consumer wants. I think everything has to evolve from a consumer's perspective. And that's why I said that consumer is the social being and they will come to the mall. They will want to engage and do their shopping at the mall. They will continue to flock, various shopping centers. And I'm not talking about only malls. I'm saying even high streets for that matter. Physical retail and internet retail will have to work together. And I think this word omni-channel has been floating around for the last few years. I think it's become more and more critical for people to understand that eventually these are all forms of where people will purchase, like Vivek said. So from our perspective, what has changed? What will change is, of course, our thought process in terms of what size of center should we build. I think that's one of the key decisions we had to make, and that's a difficult one because you don't want to. These malls will come 3 to 4 years hence. So for us to take a judgment on what will happen 3-4 years hence is a bit of a punt. But I think from our perspective, we have to at some stage make a decision. And so as part of our revised design brief to the architect is that, can you give me a mall which has flexibility?
Correct.
And that's one of the key things which we told our architects. I said, look, we'll build the structure. Can you give me a design which will allow me flexibility if I want? And I think that's the future. Today, large number of super centers in the US are converting themselves into office spaces, into co-working spaces, into fulfillment centers. But the problem for them is the challenging is the limited flexibility of them to bring these categories in. So one of the things which we've asked our international architects is to, can you just do within the same block a redesign of construction and design which will allow us this flexibility if I have to make changes. So if I have to mothball an area because of certain reason, if I have to reduce, increase both vertically and horizontally. So I think these are the changes we're bringing. We are not worried about the fact that the malls will continue to be attractive for consumers. I think that will always remain. When I remember, when I first started my career with the Piramal Group and we did a supermarket chain, everybody said Kiranas will get wiped out with all these supermarkets coming up. But I think we know better than that now that the Kiranas have actually done the best.
They've remodeled. They completely remodeled themselves.
I think these evolutions will keep happening. You like Benu said, you have to continuously be agile and more flexible, and I think one has to also be able to adapt and adopt. I think that's the sort of model that will go forward. You can't say that this is what I'm building and this is what I'll own for 20 years now. What you know is this is what you're building, and you have to be prepared that it'll keep changing. Correct. And I think that's one of the big learnings for us.
Benu, this is another subject. I think it was pretty painful a couple of months ago. That was relationship with the retailers. We had a lot of ups and downs. We had a lot of friction with them. Do you think this settled down? Retailers are happy with the performance currently. Do you think they bought peace with the malls and everybody else that, okay, this is going to work, and we'll have to work with the developers? Maybe same question to you also after that.
Yeah, the thing is, what I feel is retailers are still very skeptical, and some of them have returned to their year-on-year numbers, but some of them have not. But still, we have within the group, we have whatever discounts or whatever hand holding we have done it till March. So everybody is still looking at it to pass this Christmas, December, look at March and then decide how to the way forward. But some categories have vanished, and as Vipin was saying that we don't want them back. Similarly, we are also thinking of redefining a few categories wherein they have occupied too much space, and then on RevShare I'm not making anything and I will not make further as well. So these are the times wherein we can do some introspective checks and speak with the retailers. This is the time where retailers and developers have to handhold each other, because both of them are ladkhada gaye, dono hi. I will not say that only the retailer is shaky, but even the developer is shaky, because the banks are there on their head. And where I am there working in a company wherein we have done strata sale and I have assured returns. So we are further, we've got many monkeys on the back. So we have to take care that the tenant mixes and the retailers perform. Otherwise, the monkeys are going to kill us. Having said that, again, I am still thinking that what should be, the Vipin has very rightly pointed out, the malls have to be flexible, the new malls, and this is the time where we are also considering looking at new venues and new sites, distress sales, we can pick it up if the pocket allows. This is the time wherein we can pick up certain good locations wherein we can think that the losses which we have made in the past can bounce back by investing in the better property. Again, some of the retailers, I don't know what is going to be the future, but some of them are picking up and coming up well. But rev share is the thing which has gone till March. So let us see after March whether MG would return back or not.
Yeah, definitely better than what used to be till few months back.
Yeah, definitely.
There's not much of heartburn now. How
The
about
app-
Bipin?
I think,
Bipin?
I don't know whether Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu announcing the reopening of the malls was a boon or a late was a boon or a bane. For us, it's been a boon because I think states which allowed the shopping centers to open earlier perhaps went through a more difficult conversations with the retailers than we had to go. That's one. Second, we found that I mean, as opposed to the impression that and the concern that we had, I think retailers generally were quite, most retailers were quite balanced in their discussions with us, I must say. The only thing I think what is happening is that there is a few bad apples everywhere, and I think those are the people who are still causing a lot of stir in terms of sale nahi hua. For example, when they came for negotiations, some retailers, they said hamara dhanda 50% bhi nahi hoga. So we said okay, we'll be happy with 50% MG, and then we progressively move forward. Now when they're doing 87%, they are still saying we are below last year. So I think
and they're still not paying.
somewhere down the line, I think there are, and I must say, there's a very handful of such retailers who are unfortunately, creating this unnecessary, discussion. But most retailers, I think, have been quite considerate. They have come forward. We understand their pain to some extent, or they also understand our pain. And somewhere down the line, I just feel that if we have supported the retail industry through this tough time, going ahead when they do better, I hope they also remember and reciprocate some bit of that support that has been extended, which I find it difficult, and I think that's where the gap always is. But by and large, I must say that one, we were fortunate. Actually, we opened late, so from a consumer point also, people were more comfortable, and people were okay.
The
to
fear
go
was
to the
going
mall.
slowly.
So we started off with at least a reasonable number of people walking into our center. Second, most retailers were tired of fighting with the likes of some of the other larger players. So we got the little better part of the So overall, it's been okay, and I think I have a feeling personally that we should get back to our normalcy, but I don't think it will happen March. I still feel it will take another 6 months post March as well for us to actually because it's not about just getting back into the normal. I think also having that normal comeback for a period of 1 or 2 quarters is what people will look at, and then things will fall back into place.
Bipin, I have to tell you our experience, what is happening in our malls. We have noticed that the footfall is definitely improved in Malad being a larger center. There's more space there, so there is people are less worried about getting contacting other people.
Sorry
so you can keep social distancing. Sorry, go ahead.
But if it makes you happy, my wife right now is at your mall.
Good. So the comfort factor is more if you could walk into a larger mall because the spaces are more and they can maintain that social distancing. Smaller malls will have certain challenge. Sorry, I was getting another call. Yeah. In terms of our revenues, our sales, we have reached almost up to 66% from the time we opened. That is from August till November, you reach almost 66%. But there is it's around 50%. And the last 2 months, October, November, we reached 74%. So I think the sale is definitely improving. And retailers also, they think they're pretty okay now currently. I don't think they really have too much of a serious problem, except for a couple of categories, which is basically, again, formal and ethnic wear, which I think is taking much longer to bounce back. The rest of all the categories are pretty okay. Vivek, now you've heard from Bipin and Benu, they're talking about expansion, they're looking at new properties. What kind of suggestion would you have for them in terms of at a construction time itself, they can add some of those areas for a technological improvement?
Right. So there are 2-3 things that we can take into account. From an existing property perspective, see, the investment is already made. There is an existing structure which is there. The only thing that can help us perform that better is data. How we look at data. There is data in terms of how are people moving inside, where are they going, what are the dark zones within the mall, what are the places that you can live in up, how do you make the entire structure or the entire layout much more conducive to a consumer environment. That's one. Of which we have only looked at data typically from a mall perspective. And this is what I talk out of my experience looking at our customers, all the Middle East, all the malls in the Middle East, or probably a lot of properties across the UK. So in these geographies, there are a lot of mall developers and mall operators take a lot of stress in terms of understanding consumer data. How are they moving within the property? What sort of trajectories are they taking, and so on and so forth, which helps them design or redesign or remodel the existing property, which are very quick solutions, right? So if you have a store which is not performing, you get a very nice candy man up there, and then it drives traffic. So all those strategies can be driven in very short term. Of course, when we look at long term, there is a trend that I can certainly highlight for this forum. What we have seen out of our engagement is a lot of properties across the UK. And this could be very short-lived. There has been some amount of shift in traffic from very large centers towards the smaller ones, which are more towards residential areas. Having said that, the contradiction to the statement could be that these countries have gone into extended lockdown and people are not allowed to move frequently.
Okay.
So understanding Vipin's statement, let's probably wait for a couple of more months/weeks to understand how the trend is moving. But having said that, a lot of decision, a lot of intelligence would certainly be need to made on the data that is available to you in terms of whether it be footfalls, whether it be which days of the week, what are the busy hours, what are the places that are not frequented by people, and so on and so forth. We have to relook at the entire dynamics again.
Sorry, can I just add, Mukesh? I'd
Yeah,
just like
Bipin,
to
your last
add
word.
to it.
Yes, yeah.
One of the things that has really helped us during this phase of limited footfalls, and perhaps what Benu said, that most people now walking into the malls are buyers. They are such a prized, database for us now. For example, when we were launching something for Christmas, and this database, like Vivek said, has actually almost become the actual target audience. In a way, these are those 100 people who are all shoppers. So from a marketing, filtering and filtration point of view, for us to now be a slightly more targeted marketing, I think this has really helped us in getting a very valuable set of data, which is your real customers, which is the buying customers from your catchment. And I think that's one of the things which people have to understand, that these maybe 100,000 or 150,000 people who have walked into your center during these 6 months of the fear of COVID are probably the real buyers also who were your real target audience. So these are all pure buyers, and I think that database has become very invaluable for all of us.
Very valid point, Vipin. Benu, anything to add? Your last word?
So I fully agree with you, Vipin, and these are the people which we should, take care of them and contact them. This is not sending, मतलब तीर निशाने पे जाएगा. If you send something,
very targeted marketing.
Yeah, targeted. So this is something which is a very good thing that we have learned. It is like putting a sieve through your customers and getting filtered the meat out of everything. So this is something which I agree on. Furthermore, I had also noted down that we have to provide more reasons for people to come to the mall, which we have been talking all the time. It looks like a stale topic, but shopping should not be the only thing. Again, but repeating what Vipin said, we have to be flexible. We have to provide more than shopping. It should not be a shopping mall. It should be some other, like Dubai Mall, which has a big aquarium, then it has a fountain, then it has, and shopping is yet another thing in the mall. So there we have to now design our centers like that. Smaller cities, smaller centers, larger cities, not very big. I don't recommend anybody to put in a lot of money in the mall. Don't go overboard. Is again decide. See the throughput of each categories now. It is very important. Again, Vivek, data should be provided. The throughput of each category should decide the size of that shop. Because when you give, they are coming for pure share deals are coming on my table. Not even one MG deal is coming, new MG deal is coming on my table. But when you have a pure rev share deals for a new thing, pure rev share वो फैल जाता है retailer. Oh, because they think that more space, I have to give only more space, more business is not true.
Yeah.
So you have to, again, data is very important. You have to see what is the throughput. So whether 1,000 or 1,500 or 2,000, what is that thing wherein I can break that rev share very fast and come into a better situation. So all these things, again, technology driven. I feel that we should have the mall in such a way wherein I can convert it into a workspace as well. So work from home, I can say that, okay, you work from here and then it is as good as home, and shop and go, something like that. It is all weird things that keep coming to my mind, and it can be weird, but then all the weird things have come true.
Thank you, Beno. Very, very interesting. Very interesting take from all of you.
Another note.
Bipin, it was always
Thank you
good to
very
have
much,
you
Mukesh.
on the panel. Vivek, very great insight
you.
in everything what you said. Everything is absolutely correct. We'll take a lot of things home from here. Rimash, we are done. Back to you.
I just want to thank Mukesh for moderating the session so beautifully. Thank you so much, Mukesh. Nice meeting you, Binu and Vivek. And thank you very much to Mapic for arranging this.
Thank you.
Wonderfully handled.
Thanks,
And,
Beno. Thank you.
Yeah, and Vipin and Vivek, very nice meeting you. Let's meet in person as well sometime.
Sure.
Sure.
Thank you, Mukesh, for handling this
Thank you.
perfectly
Thank
and
you
getting
so
all
much.
the relevant questions.
Thanks, Vivek.
Thanks, Binu and Vipin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar, and all our speakers for sharing your thoughts. And it was very insightful conversation, and very interesting facts have been shared by all of you. And, as Mr. Sehgal has rightly said, we don't know whether some new kind of pandemic is, going to hit us again. So it's better that we prepare ourselves, for the new normal. And I'm sure today's takeaway will be very helpful for all of us, and we appreciate you being here. The recorded
Thank you so much, everybody.
will be available to you on our YouTube channel and website soon. So on behalf of Mapic India, thank you all once again for joining us today. Have a
Thank
good
you,
day.
Rima. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Have a great evening ahead.
Bye.
Bye.
You too. Bye-bye. Bye.